Good morning. My name is Janet North and I reside in Maryland. I guess the best way to describe myself would be to say that I'm a prodigal scientist. Growing up, I was always surrounded by doctors and nurses and nuclear scientists and various types of researchers. And though my path began in the direction of science, I purposely detoured down an entirely different road, which was hospitality and finance. But somewhere along the line, smiling pretty and counting other people's money was really unfulfilling for me. So, approximately 10 years ago, I was lured back to the science world when I was offered an opportunity to learn post mortem analysis. And I've been doing that ever since, except for now, I only do it as a on call basis. So my journey and my return to sciences led me to Coppin State University, where I obtained a bachelor's in biology, and I also minored in chemistry and the arts. So while I was at Coppin State University, I was known mostly as one of the water girls because during the time that I was there, I researched and I continue to research today the social and environmental factors contributing to the degradation of the Baltimore City water supply, its effects on the aquatic ecosystem, and public health, and possible solutions to the problem. And this research is done utilizing the social environmental synthesis approach, or SES for short. So basically, SES is a research method that kind of integrates existing knowledge and data from the natural sciences and social sciences for a better understanding of the social environmental systems. Also, I just recently published June of this year, 2017, the first in a series of articles on this particular topic, and I'm currently working on a social aspect of the research. Now, the social aspect of the research involves gathering information about how teenagers in Baltimore City, at the endpoint of the water supply, view environmental stewardship compared to the way teenagers within the watersheds that fuel the Baltimore City water supply, what their views are of environmental stewardship. So obviously, these areas were chosen based on geographic location, and that's kind of basically it, because it has to be from a perspective of what the area is like, whether it's agricultural or urban and developed. So we kind of picked areas based on that. That's a little teeny bit of community assessment that I did, but only just a small bit from the researcher perspective. So additionally, I had the honor of being requested to work as a fellow on a pilot project that was launched last year. And the project was a collaboration between the Federal Communications Commission's Connect to Health Task Force and Johns Hopkins Hospital, and also the continued research for Coppin State University. So previously, President Obama challenged the FCC to create a means for Americans to access affordable and quality health care, and determine what were some of the connectivity obstacles preventing such access. So the FCC Commissioner Clyburn accepted the challenge, and she spearheaded the Connect to Health Task Force, which is a senior level multidisciplinary task force created to bridge the gap between broadband and the rapidly advancing healthcare technologies that are coming out. So one of the things that I had to do was to map out the ratios of broadband access and adoption rates, and compare them to the various health disparities and determine where these variables overlapped. And one of the things I implemented was to have the CDC upload their data of the top 5 to maybe 10 health disparities into the mapping tool that the team developed. So another suggestion I made was to for each one of the communities that showed these overlaps, for us to go and or have a team to go and do boots on the ground assessments, to go and actually find out from community leaders and from politicians and just individuals within the community, to find out what they felt was lacking in their community and what could be done to help them. This tool was developed to show the developers or anyone that wanted to start a business or do any type of business as far as healthcare and helping the community, to show them where the need is. And then also, once you find out where the need is, you can also find out where funding is also available and what type of funding is available. So that's one of the major portions of the program, and that's why the mapping and the community assessment was important there. So unfortunately, I did not get to go and do any boots on the ground assessments, which I would have loved to do. But so we kind of did data analysis. We did a review of just kind of data for the different communities. So ideally, it would be perfect if I could make assessments on some of the communities I was unable to access via the FCC fellowship, but since that's not possible, I still have 3 communities that I'm a little torn between. I haven't narrowed it down to the 2 yet, but I will really soon. So the first one could be one of the communities within the water research that I spoke about earlier. The second one could be the rapidly developing nomad and vagrant community along the Martin Luther King Boulevard corridor and its impact on the surrounding, thriving, and up-and-coming communities. The third is a community called Heritage Crossing, and I would like to maybe look at that, assess that community with a focus on emergency preparedness. And in light of the recent events, it shows that we all need to be prepared for the unexpected. And even more so here in Baltimore, because we are a port city, not just Baltimore City, but Annapolis and also parts of the Eastern Shore are right there by the waterfront. So these communities need to be made aware or be prepared in the event that the same type of situation, which could potentially do just as much damage or more damage here. So I can foresee some of the challenges in obtaining the assessments with each one of these communities. The first one would be gaining access to the classrooms and the process needed to interact with the teenagers from a research perspective using questionnaires. However, I could merely observe them outside of the school and at the local mall and as they travel to and fro, just to kind of get a general idea as if they're throwing things on the ground, or if they're throwing trash in the trash can. Are they utilizing the different recycled containers that are available in different places? So for the nomad and vagrant community, I imagine that it would be unlikely that they would be willing to speak with a stranger that's asking questions. Also, several appear to have mental health issues, which might pose a problem too. So here again, observation seems to be the best option. Now for Heritage Crossing, that may be the path of least resistance, because I'm pretty sure that they have a community association, and I would merely have to just contact the president to ask if I could come to one of the meetings and be able to talk to some of the residents and the homeowners. So it looks like I have a lot of work cut out for me, as do you. So I wish everyone a productive and knowledge-filled semester. Bye.